The time for talking is over. Ravens football is back in the Charm City. Tyler Jones here with you to get you all set with everything you need to know ahead of Sunday's matchup between your Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans, NFL Week Number 1. I have my 5 keys to victory for your Baltimore Ravens coming up on today's show, as well as a look at the Ravens injury report. The Ravens enter Sunday's contest as 10-point favorites, over-under at 43.5. The Ravens, a lot of hopes, expectations to be one of the better teams in the AFC in 2023, taking on a Houston Texans team that is turning the page to the next chapter as DeMeco Ryans takes over as their new head coach, new quarterback, and C.J. Stroud. What kind of awakening can they give to this new-look Houston Texans team as they begin the year? We'll discuss here in a moment. But first, do not miss out. We'll be live here on Ravens Rundown coming up on Sunday afternoon when your Ravens take on the Texans. Our coverage will begin at 12:30 Eastern Time right here on Ravens Rundown. Myself, Tyler Smith-Smitty, will be here with you. The Ravenettes, we're looking forward to seeing you as we'll do about a 30-minute pregame show, and then we'll be live for the entire game, analyzing it in real time, having a few drinks on hand. It is guaranteed to entertain you. So I need you to subscribe to the channel and join us on Sunday. You will not want to miss out on our first Ravens watch party of 2023. We're taking on Texans today in a sub-battle this week, and they're beating us. A little bit of an edge. We got some catching up to do. So sub for dubs and join the family. Subscribe now and join us for our watch party here on Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Let's begin with the injury report for your Ravens. 3 notable injuries to look at. That is Mark Andrews with an undisclosed injury. He's questionable. Tyler Huntley with a hamstring injury. He is questionable. Josh Johnson probably going to be the number 2 quarterback this weekend. And then Marlon Humphrey at the corner spot with a foot injury. He is doubtful. Could be out the first 2 games of the year. We'll see what goes on with Marlon Humphrey there. But on Mark Andrews, with his injury front, he has missed 6 straight practices. And it's undisclosed of why he has missed the last several days. There's been speculation. Granted, it's pure speculation that he has missed these practices possibly due to the type 1 diabetes that he has. We can't confirm that, but it's been thrown out there. But nonetheless, John Harbaugh is not concerned, as he said this about Mark Andrews: we will not push the panic button. We should see him out there on Wednesday. And that's the day that's kind of make or break for when guys are likely to play or not. And John Harbaugh expects him to be out there. So that's a good sign at least. What's your level of concern with Mark Andrews' injury status? Scaled for me in the comment section, 1 through 10. Let me know how you're feeling about Mark Andrews going into this week. Now your keys to victory for your Baltimore Ravens. Let's start with that tight end position. Next man up at the tight end spot. With us not knowing if we're going to see Mark Andrews or not and how he's going to play come Sunday, it's got to be next man up at that tight end spot to fill the void for this Baltimore Ravens team. And the Ravens have very good news. They have arguably the best tight end room in all of football, with not just Andrews, but Isaiah Likely, who's coming off a very good rookie season and should see an increased role in this Ravens offense. And then Charlie Kolar, who was also picked in the same draft as Likely last year, missed most of last season with a sports hernia injury, and he was fantastic in the preseason. A reminder of how good Isaiah Likely was in 2022. 36 catches, 373 yards, over 10 yards of reception and 3 touchdowns. Expect those numbers to go up quite a bit in 2023. Charlie Kolar in the preseason, in the 3 preseason games for Baltimore, 8 catches, 120 yards, 15 yards of reception, and his play style very similar to Mark Andrews. So if he's on the field at the same time as Mark Andrews, you might have 2 Mark Andrewses out there. I really like this tight end group. With not knowing how Mark Andrews is going to be on Sunday, these guys are going to need to step up because we know that Todd Monken wants to run a lot of 12 personnel. Today's show is sponsored by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code CHAT125, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet. The odds are out for this weekend, and the Ravens, a 10-point favorite, total over under at 43.5. You want to bet on this game as well as other games across the National Football League. And if you'd like to bet maybe on some baseball and your Baltimore Orioles or other teams, Chat Sports is the place to do it. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125 to get your bets in today. That's chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125. Number 2 on our keys to victory for the Ravens is all hands on deck in pass coverage. This Ravens team is a little shorthanded right now when it comes to the cornerback position with the injuries that they have endured over the last several weeks when it comes to training camp and into the preseason. That's a big issue, but just looking back last year, this was arguably the biggest weakness the Ravens had last year was pass defense. Opponent pass play percentage was near 62%. That was 30th in the NFL. Opponent completion percentage was 66.7%. That was 27th in the league. Opponent passing yards per play was 6.6 yards, 16th in the league. Opponent passes per game, 34.7. That was 22nd in the league. And opposing passing yards per game was 229.4, which was 23rd in the league. Short story, make a long story short, this defense struggled last year when it came to defending the pass. And the player I'm watching for in particular this week is Rock Ya-Sin. Rock Ya-Sin dealt with an injury that kept him out for a few weeks during training camp and into the preseason. And with likely not having Marlon Humphrey there, that means that Rock Ya-Sin is going to be the top corner that the Ravens will have to trust to get the job done, to cover Nico Harris and whoever the top guys are for this Houston Texans team. Last season, 45 tackles, didn't have any interceptions, but it had 7 pass breakups. And what you see out of Rock Ya-Sin, he's not necessarily going to get a lot of interceptions, create a lot of turnovers, but he's going to play that no-fly zone type role in the secondary. And with C.J. Stroud, a young quarterback, trying to get comfortable and to those his top targets, Rock Ya-Sin is going to need to be that tone setter and really get things going for that pass defense to set how things are going to go the rest of the way. Name a player to watch for the Ravens on Sunday against Houston. I've given you one name. Now it's your turn to weigh in the comment section. Give me a name that comes to mind that you think will have a big game on Sunday. Weigh in. Tell us in the comment section who that is. Number 3 on my keys to victory, we're turning our attention to the one and only, the former MVP, Lamar Jackson. And I got to tell you, I would let Lamar Jackson cook. And, you know, this advice, I'll say this, folks, should not be taken lightly of sorts when it comes to letting Lamar do his thing. Because I wouldn't say this about every quarterback. But when you look at what the Ravens have been invested in offensively, knowing what Lamar's talent level is, being very, I would say, optimistic about the offensive line, and in the scheme that's in place by Todd Monken, there's no reason why Lamar should not excel and just take off. When you're talking about an offensive system that allows you to create space and attack the entire field, that's what I want to hear from Lamar Jackson. A strong run game, more play action, again, that only helps Lamar out. Air raid concepts. He ran a lot of those concepts when he was in college at Louisville. Dictating tempo. Sometimes this team's going to play fast. Sometimes they're going to slow it down. With Lamar, there's no reason why you can't be able to do both. And then using those tight ends to create mismatches, Lamar has done very well when it comes to getting the ball to his tight ends over the years. I'm looking for this offense to be dynamic and for Lamar to just cook and to play at an MVP caliber level in 2023, and that starts on Sunday. You look at all these weapons, the plethora that Lamar Jackson gets to work with in 2023. I mean, from J.K. Dobbins to Gus, OBJ, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, Tylan Wallace, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kolar, They got some dudes, okay? There's some dudes on this Ravens team. And I have so much confidence in the Ravens offense entering 2023. There is potential for this group to be the best offense in football. There is. With that lineup, with the scheme that's in place, and then having the most explosive quarterback in the National Football League, watch out. And nobody's talking about it. Everybody's disrespecting the Ravens right now. But I tell you, the Baltimore Ravens offense is coming. Let Lamar cook. Next on our keys to victory, I would say this. When it comes to this defense, you're taking on a rookie in C.J. Stroud. We've seen, history tells us that rookies tend to do pretty good when it comes to their first games because there's not a whole lot of tape on them, right? If I'm the Baltimore Ravens, you need to remind C.J. Stroud that he's a rookie and put him in his place. As I was looking at the scouting reports on C.J. Stroud, there was 4 things in particular that stood out to me of weaknesses that the Ravens can attack of some sorts that Mike McDonald and company is looking at on film. For one, interceptions arise when he stays on his primary wide receiver. When he locks in on that guy, then his turnovers numbers go up. If you can get him distracted on that one guy, that'll certainly help. He struggles with recognition and respect for safeties. Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, I'm calling you out. This is your chance to shine. He's hesitant to use his legs at times. Keep him in that pocket. Don't let him escape. We know he can be mobile, but he's a little, nervous about it of sorts. And he's inconsistent at activating the lower body torque on drive throws. Something to watch for there. See if you can get him in that spot. They do these things that can make things real difficult for C.J. Stroud as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the scouting report. And think about this. When we talk about making him feel like a rookie and putting him in his place, you go back to last season in 2022, the Ravens had the 7th best sack rate in the entire NFL at 7.68%. I think that kind of gets forgotten about of how well the Ravens did of getting to the quarterback. Sure, you don't have Justin Houston anymore, but with Jadeveon Clowney and some of these other cats, there's no reason why you shouldn't be aggressive and go after the quarterback in that way. I'll give you my prediction in a few moments, but I want to hear from you guys first. Crystal ball time here on Ravens Rundown. Predict the score of Sunday's Ravens versus Texans game. Let me know how you think this is going to play out. Who wins and what will the final score be? Last on our keys to victory for the Ravens. All gas, no brakes. Put the pedal to the metal and get this thing going from the jump, as far as I'm concerned. The Ravens need to start strong and get it going, because what we saw a lot of times in 2022 was the Ravens would get off to these slow starts where it'd take a while for the offense to get in rhythm. The Ravens last year ranked 21st in the league in first quarter points at 3.7 points per game. So they were barely just getting a field goal in the first quarter. Okay? You need to start fast, get out to an early lead, and set that tempo for the rest of the game. I don't want to be settling for field goals. I want those touchdowns. Show me them TDs. Get in the end zone from the beginning as far as I'm concerned. So to recap, my keys to victory for Baltimore. Next man up at tight end, Charlie Kolar, Zay likely those guys got to be ready to go. All hands on deck in pass coverage. Rock Ya-Sin, I'm looking at you in particular. Let Lamar cook. This offense should play to his strengths. No reason why he can't have a big game and a big year. Put C.J. Stroud in his place. Remind him that he is a rookie. Get pressure on him from the jump, and then all gas, no brakes. This offense needs to be rolling from the jump of this game and not start slow. Don't settle for field goals. Go get those touchdowns. If they do these things, they're going to be in great shape. I like the Ravens to win. To start the season 1-0, I think that the offense is going to show up and show out. You're going to like what you see from the Ravens week 1. I think the Texans are better than what people give them credit for, though. I think that the Ravens win this by about a touchdown. 31-24. If the Ravens were fully healthy at the corner position, then I would see them covering that 10-point margin, but don't think that's going to quite happen. But I do see the Ravens getting a touchdown win. Don't forget, join us coming up on Sunday, 12:30 Eastern, live right here on the Ravens Rundown for Ravens Texans. You will not want to miss it. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you on Sunday right here on Ravens Rundown.